All right. What is going on, everybody on YouTube? Griffin here, coming back to you guys with another live stream, another Sunday stock watch. For those of you that are going to be tuning in for the first time live or after the video uploads, we'd love to have you here. Definitely consider hitting the subscribe button below. And more so than that, check out our group chat. That's down in the description box. It's through Discord. It's all totally free. I don't have like any fees or monthly charges that I charge for anything. It's just a good little group chat for those of us that look to make money in the stock market, look to make money online, flipping stuff, all that good stuff. So if you're into that, like I said, that's down in the description box. How's it going there, Josh? And yeah, this weekend, I don't know about you guys, but this weekend went by pretty quick for me. Next thing I know, I looked up at the clock and it was like 3 o'clock where I'm at Central U.S. Standard Time. I was like, well, I better get on getting ready to do my Sunday stock watch that we try to do every single Sunday. But yeah, for anyone that's tuning in, like I said, we do this every Sunday. We try to do as many live streams as possible, and I'm going to try to start also posting more videos in between the times where I don't have time to do a live stream. That way, at least you guys will have some sort of content. But yeah, love to have you here. Definitely consider the subscribe button, but we'll hop right in. So you guys know, those of you that tuned into the stream on Friday, you guys know I took a small position, a little 50 share position within DWT. It's about a $330, $340 position. I took that position at 371, and surprise, surprise, like always, it always drops a few cents almost right after I buy. And the reason I did this is, again, whenever we go over to crude oil, I can see that we're getting pretty overextended, and we can see that our MACD on the 1 hour is looking like it's getting ready to cross. So I'm taking a little bit of risk. My risk management is 2% loss versus a 5% gain. I'm looking for a 5% gain within DWT, which for crude oil mean you're looking at roughly about usually on average about a percent drop, somewhere around there. I mean, a decent drop, but like I said, if I can go up 1 to 3%, I'll go ahead and cover because I am still long-term bullish on oil. It's just playing it this way has worked time and time again for me. Usually what I do is I just stay out of oil until I have a good buy price within UWT or sometimes Gush. But I was like, okay, well, you know what? I don't want to wait a few days. I want to go ahead and make some money on DWT as well. See how that works out for me. So if I had caught it at the best time, if I had hopped right into DWT after selling my UWT that morning on Friday, I would have already made some pretty decent money because oil dropped roughly 60, 70 cents in just a couple of hours. As you can see, 1 to 2 hours, it dropped like 1% right there. So I could have made a quick 5% easily on a day trade within DWT, but I did miss out on that. However, it looks like, again, I use the MACD quite a bit when it comes to trading UWT, DWT, when it comes to oil. For those of you that are tuning in and don't know, like, what is UWT and DWT, those are inverse ETNs. If we pull up UWT here, it's the bullish one. So as you can see, it pretty much goes hand in hand with /CL. And then you have DWT, which goes opposite. Now with DWT, you want to be a lot more careful. Pretty much you don't want to fight the trend. Obviously, you can see it's in a descending pattern, so don't be thinking you're going to get this thing to like pop up over 750 anytime soon. You don't want to fight the trend. My target sell is somewhere around 7, but as I mentioned, if I see it starts to stall out somewhere around like 680, which is very possible, then I'll go ahead and cover profit at that point, because at that point I'm up 1 to 2% somewhere around there, and just never be afraid to take profit off the table at the end of the day. It's still going to be descending overall. Honestly, I think within the next week, DWT will go under $6. That's just my 2 cents on it. I think oil's going to probably go over $62, $63 this week. But who knows? We could see a good little pullback within oil overall. We could see one of these short-term pops where DWT goes over 7, which is what I'm kind of hoping for over the next 24, 48 hours. Which then at that point I would hop into UWT, obviously. So pretty much it's just kind of buy the dip, sell the rip when it comes to oil. So we can see right now $60.50 to $61 is now another new resistance point, right around $60.50. You can see we popped above it to $60.73, and we've kind of came off of that. And then again, like I said, when you just look at your MACD on the 1 hour chart tends to be a pretty good indicator to use when it comes to just like swing trading UWT and DWT. It's worked for me time and time again. Every time I use these, use this indicator, I tend to make usually on average about 5%. On Friday, we made 8% on UWT, so that was a pretty good trade right there. I believe I bought it. It was sometime I forget exactly. We can go into my Robinhood if you guys want, but I believe it was sometime pretty late on Thursday afternoon. So we held it overnight, and then obviously we sold it near the high of the day, first thing in the morning on Friday. But overall, for the overall market outlook, what I'm going to be looking at, obviously, we'll be watching the S&P 500 futures overnight. You can see once again, right around 2860, we got stalled out over the last, what was that, about a week ago, and we've kind of just been, we've just been sideways really the last week or two. In all honesty, we've been kind of in this range between 2792 and right around 2850, so to speak. But it's going to be interesting to see now if we're actually going to get ready to break out to the upside, or are we going to retest 2860 again and get rejected at or below it. If we get rejected again, I think we're going to start moving lower, but my gut for some reason is telling me we're probably getting ready to break out and maybe see 2900 before long in April. But I do think sometime within the next month or two, we'll probably see our first quote-unquote correction of the year. I mean, we've been on a rip since the lows right around Christmas. I think they said the market had its best quarter since 2009. I think they said like the Dow Jones and S&P were up roughly 11 to 13% or something like that in one quarter. That's generally what most people's retirement accounts do on like a good year, and we did that in one quarter. Now, obviously, that's given we had a huge, pretty big correction, almost bear market actually, at the end of last year. Later half of last year, we were down 19-20%, so you have to take that into account. But still, to start the year, that's an amazing run. But yeah, I'll be watching that level. That's going to be a very critical level right around the 2860. You can see we got stalled out there 2 or 3 times actually over the last couple weeks. I've been trying to figure out why exactly we've been getting stalled out there. You can see, I mean, our overall resistance was right around 2800. We broke above that, and then 2860 is what's really been giving us quite a bit of trouble. You can see back late last year, like middle last year in August, right around August, we were having a little bit of trouble around there once or twice, but we ultimately kept legging up higher until we hit all-time highs. So I don't know. I think personally we'll probably break through it, and we'll probably go upwards of 2,900 to 3,000 maybe before we end up ultimately rolling back over into some sort of a correction. How big is that correction going to be? Who knows? We all know the big one's coming sooner rather than later, probably 10, 12 years into a bull market, but not 12, about 10 years now into this bull market, but we'll see what happens. I still do think overall the market will hit 3,000 though before we ultimately go down big time. That's just my 2 cents though. So we'll see what happens with that. But I'm not really going to be trading like Force.CS, of course, or SPY too often. You guys know within my actual account right now, like I said, the DWT, AGNC, and SPHD, I forget, it never lets me really get on it. But those are my 2 dividends that I'm holding. This one's going to pay me $5.40. This one's going to pay me roughly $4 or $5 as well. And then DWT is the only one I'm kind of swing trading right now. You can see that down after hours is from being down 5 cents per share on DWT. It literally dropped like I said it would pretty much right after I bought it in the after hour session yesterday. But pretty much I'll just keep playing what works for me for now, which is oil. How's it going there, Trevor? Oh, no problem. I'll be watching oil for now. And that's the other thing, too. When I look at the 1 year, 1 day, you can also see we got rejected by that SMA. We got up, like I said, upwards of $61 almost on Friday. We got rejected right at that SMA on the 1 year chart. So, again, I just think it's due for a short-term pullback. I'm not saying that I think oil's due for like some sort of big pullback down to like 55 or anything. Like I said Friday, I think it's going to come down lowest right around 59, maybe just under 59, right around that 58.80, I think is where we built some support. If I go back to the 20-day 1 hour chart, where was it? Or maybe it's a little over, it's about 58.50. But I think we're going to pull down somewhere around to this SMA right around 59.50 realistically before we continue on higher. And then at that point, I think honestly oil is going to touch $61 to $62 this week. A lot of people are saying 63. I don't know. I don't really see 63 quite this week. But I do think we'll probably hit 62 at least, probably 61 to 62. So overall, yes, I am still bullish on oil. I just wouldn't be surprised if we have, I wouldn't even be surprised in all honesty if we have a quote unquote like a red week on oil, like down 1% overall on the week. Because again, ever since we had that low 54.52, about how many weeks ago was that? That was about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Ever since we had this low, we've just been ripping as of late. And you can tell it's kind of stalled out here over the last, trading week roughly. Ever since we've hit over $60, we've kind of been stalling out between 58 and 60. Now, a lot of people are saying we're just consolidating and we're getting ready to leg up higher. I agree with that, but I do think we're also going to pull back, like I said, to around like $59, $59.50, somewhere around there. So we'll see what happens. I mean, nothing ever goes straight up at the end of the day, right? So we'll see what happens. Higher highs and higher lows. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. Is there news? I don't know. Let's take a look. OPEC cuts. Prepare oil. Yeah, we already knew that because oil's up like 30% so far to start the year. And that's the thing too. I wanted to hit on this because most of us do. I try to limit how much I watch like CNBC and all that just because a lot of the stuff they spew is BS. But one thing I wanted to hit on is if you're like looking to invest in oil or like trade oil, day trade oil, swing trade oil, don't, in my opinion, don't buy like oil stocks. Don't be buy, unless if you're looking at something like dividend investing type stuff where you're looking at the companies like Chevron and all that good stuff. I just wouldn't really play the actual oil stocks. I've said this time and time again, they just don't give you good enough returns. Like crude oil, for example, is up roughly like 30% to start the year. Again, since we had the low of 42.36. So if you go from around the low of 42.36, we're at 42.54 there, and we're up to around 60, what we at, about 60.18 or something right now. So 60.18 again, boom, that's saying 41%. I don't think that's right. But let's just say since the low, roughly 40% is how much oil is up. Now let's go to something like ExxonMobil, for example. ExxonMobil from around 64.65, which was the low. If we can get it close to there. There we go. 64.65 to, let's even give it the high that it's hit recently, which was around 81.62. That's only 26%. So, meanwhile, you go over to something like UWT from 793, it's almost tripled in that same time frame. Now, obviously, there's a little bit more risk because obviously anything that's 3 times leverage has a little bit more risk involved. But if you're overall bullish on oil or anything like natural gas, gold, stuff like that, I mean, why would you play something like an ExxonMobil or Royal Dutch Shell or any of those that are only going to give you about a third, a fourth in some cases of the return that something like a UWT, a DWT, a Gush, a Drip, JNUG and JDST for gold. What else is there? UGAS and DGAS for natural gas. Like, obviously, again, there's a lot of risk. Like, you want to definitely have your stop losses. Take your profits when needed, especially when you're just day trading and swing trading these. Like, I wouldn't really... I'm just not in the boat that I want to hold anything, at least in this current market where we all know a recession's kind of looming on the market right now. It's not a matter of if, it's when at this point. I'm not in the boat that I really want to invest in anything super long term, like maybe a couple weeks, a month, if you're trying to catch like some dividends or something like that. But I'm in the boat where I just want to hold stuff maybe a couple days, couple nights, because you just never know. We could wake up one morning and bam, the market's just going up in flames, so to speak. Not that I think that's going to happen, but point being is if you're investing in something like a commodity, essentially oil, gold, I don't know if they have, I think they have silver ETFs as well. I don't really trade silver though. Natural gas, any type of commodity, I would go with the like leveraged ETFs and ETNs personally. It's just a lot bigger returns, a lot more risk, so you're going to have to stomach a lot more, but higher risk, higher reward, right? So that's just my 2 cents. Like all of them on CNBC were saying you should invest in like ExxonMobil, Royal Dutch Shell, Chevron, all of those, and they've only had like 15 to 30% returns compared to, again, like a UWT that's up, like almost threefold already. And then if you go over to Gush hasn't moved quite the same, pretty close though. I mean, $5.90 to, it's been up to as high as $12, so I mean, it's doubled essentially in the last quarter. So I mean, again, that's just my 2 cents. I know that they will never suggest leverage ETFs or ETNs. Why? I don't know, but it is what it is at the end of the day. Dogs over there playing with stuff. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much all that I'm watching. You guys know that when it comes to like swing trading, day trading, oil is like the thing that I trade the best. And like I said, all I do really is I look at the MACD. I kind of take the RSI into account to a certain degree, but for the most part, I play the MACD the most now. Like I'm the one that always says you should never rely just on one indicator, but you just don't want to fight a trend at the end of the day. I was sitting there over the last however many months now since I've started trading on my Robinhood account again. I was just kind of watching. At first I was doing it with Gush, and then I hopped over to UWT and DWT, and I was looking at, because obviously /CL, it's going to look just about identical from the indicator standpoint, and I was just watching kind of how the indicators would work, so to speak, when it comes to crude oil, and I found that the MACD was almost pretty damn close to spot on whenever it would be buying started getting heavy or selling started becoming heavy. So like I said, we can just zoom in on just this little part right here over the last 20 days. So this is from the 20th, so about the last trading week or so. You can see right here we had our cross right here, and then bam, oil jumped up over $60, and then we had our cross right here, and then we had some selling. And then we kept selling over the period of like the last day or two, and then again. Now, I mean, you can have a whole bunch of scalps. I just don't think that scalping is necessarily a long-term sustainable form of trading, in my opinion. Something that you can implement into trading to make a little bit more money here and there, keep yourself involved, but I like more of kind of doing one, because you're limiting the day trades. Like, I only want to burn a day trade if I absolutely feel like I have to. Like, if I'm up 5-10% when I was only expecting to be up like 0.5% or something, of course I'm going to use my day trade, cover my profits, and move on. But for the most part, I try to look for setups within my MACD that show some potential that, okay, over the next overnight, like over the next trading session or two, this is probably going to reverse and either go up or go down. And that's pretty much what I did right here. Again, it looks like we're getting ready to cross, pretty much like the same little setup we had right here. So what would I expect over the next trading session or two? We'll probably have some sort of a downward movement. We've had a pretty good run over the last day and a half or so of trading with oil. So again, we zoom in there, you can see we're literally super close to crossing, which is why I decided to go ahead and hop in. And when we look at DWT, zoom in on it, like I said, my stop loss is going to be at 657, since that's where we built a good support. Actually, I'll probably set it at 655 just to make sure like we actually break the support. I don't want to get stopped out because it literally touches 657 and then bounces. I'll probably set it like 655, 654, somewhere around there, but we'll see tomorrow morning how it looks. But so I have roughly I think it's a 2 to 2.5% stop loss, and then my target profit is right around 3 to 5%. So a pretty good little risk management ratio, if you ask me. So, like I said, I do expect quite a bit of resistance right around 675 to 680. So I mean, if worse comes to worse, I'll lock in a very small profit, and then I'll look to hop into UWT at some point when the MACD crosses again. So, but I don't know how many of us we got tuning in here, but of course, like I said, if you guys have any ticker symbols, any questions, anything like that, you can definitely just shout them out there in the chat. And like I said, if it's your first time tuning in, we'd love to have you here. Definitely consider hitting the subscribe button below and checking out our Discord group chat. That's totally free. I don't charge for anything associated with this channel. I don't sell any BS courses or books or anything like that. So, but yeah, like I said, this is pretty much just everything I'm watching. I always keep /ES pulled up, oil of course, and then DWT and UWT, since those are my bread and butter of what I've trade on pretty much a day-by-day basis anymore. How's it going there, Shirley? But yeah, I'm wondering what you guys think about the market overall. Like, let me know either in the chat or even in the comments after the video uploads. Like, what do you feel, not even like with the oil market, but like with the overall market? Do you think we're gonna take a new leg up within the market, or do you think we're gonna leg down and get rejected sometime this week and continue further down? Still think DGAS, actually I think I do. I do think it's going to go up to about 120, 110 at the minimum probably. I mean, I saw that on Thursday and Friday that this thing, or was it Wednesday? I think it was, yeah, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I saw it Wednesday. I saw Wednesday had a hell of a day, and Friday. I was kind of keeping an eye on it, and man, it's been running as of late. I almost wish I just kind of held my position for a longer term swing trade. I played this when it was around 90 to 94, something like that. But I just made a quick little bit of profit and moved on. I'm not going to lie, like, I don't know quite as much when it comes to the natural gas market. It's a lot more of a coin toss, really. I am more bullish on DGAS than UGAS overall because we are obviously going into the warmer season. But as we saw over winter, just because you're going into a certain season doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have a certain move to the upside or downside. Wouldn't even look at the 180-day with all of the time decay and all that BS. But yeah, I mean, overall I do see this probably going to somewhere around $115, $120. Let's just pull up the 90-day chart. Okay, so yeah, I still think this is probably going to go upwards of around 120. You're going to run into some resistance right around 110. I think on Friday, I think it even showed it got stopped out right around 109.70 or something like that. Would not be surprised at all if tomorrow this has a red day, since it's been up tremendously over the last few trading days. But I still do think somewhere around 115 to 120 is where this thing will probably go over the next week or two. If it hits 117, yeah, I mean, that's a good price point. I mean, honestly, even if it hits 110 to 115, I would consider maybe taking some, especially 110, because there's going to be a lot of resistance at 110. So if it gets back up to there, I wouldn't hesitate taking off. Like, say you're holding 50 shares or 100 shares or whatever, I would consider taking at least 25 to 50% of your positions off the table, because no one ever gets hurt from covering profits at the end of the day. I would rather cover my profits too soon rather than ride out a storm and it come back down to like $90 or something, or wherever your stop loss would be. You get what I'm saying though. But overall, I mean, I do think it's still going to hit $115 to $120. It's just 110 is probably going to give us a lot of trouble this next trading week, is what I'm kind of thinking. Let's go out a little bit further than the 90-day, actually. Let's go to, I don't want to do 100 days. Let's see, custom. Let's see, let's do from, what day is that? Let's do from not January, let's do December 24th. Oh, I don't want 5 minutes. Damn it. Okay, let's try this again. Let's do a 1 hour chart. Okay. So yeah, I mean, you can tell 110 is going to give quite a bit of resistance. It was a pretty good support, bounced off of it like 3 to 5 times, and then it finally broke just after the new year, second week of January, and we had the huge downward slide. Now, obviously, at some point, I forget exactly when they cut their shares or whatever, the reverse split. I forget when that was exactly, but I think at this point was when this thing was like around, hell, wasn't it like borderline penny stock territory at one point before they did this reverse split or whatever you call it? I think it was somewhere around like $8 a share or something like that. But obviously, all that changes. But yeah, I mean, I still do think somewhere around 115, 120. But I think about 120 is probably as high as it's going to go, to be honest. I would bet more towards the 110 to 115 now that I'm looking at it. But we'll see what happens. But like I said, never ever, one, never trade based off of anyone's opinion, but two, no one ever gets hurt from taking profit off the table. You're in at $98, so I mean, You got in around 98. I'm assuming you got in on like Wednesday or Thursday, something like that. If you got out at 110, somewhere around $110, you're going to make over 12% on your money. That's a very good return. If you can get about 115 out of it, yeah, that's 17.43. What I would do maybe is set a trailing stop loss. It's at 177, 107 and 75. So I would set maybe like a 2%, 3% stop loss. I'd probably set a 3% trailing stop loss because obviously these things can move very rapidly, very quickly. So I would set more of like a 3% trailing stop loss. That's just me though. But it just depends on how it moves overnight tonight into tomorrow. I feel like it's probably going to be down tomorrow just because it had such an amazing day on Friday. So we'll see what happens with that though. But like I said, I have to stress that because ever since someone commented on a video that they lost $100 because of something I said, I have to always say do not trade based off of anyone's opinion. That's just retarded at the end of the day, but I guess you gotta say that or else people will try to act like it's your fault they lost money. So yeah, whatever. Let's see, can you do that on Robinhood? Actually, that's a good question. I don't know if you can do a trailing stop loss on Robinhood. I don't think you can, but what you could do is like set a stop loss based on where the price is currently at. It just makes it a little bit more difficult because you want to go in there and adjust it maybe. Like cancel your current stop loss and then up it maybe every hour or two, like just depending on the overall market, how it moves on the day. But so like what you do is you go in there, say again, it's at, let's go back to DGAS. Let's see, go back to the 1 minute chart. So like it's at 107.73 roughly. So a 3% move to the downside would be roughly, I would set a trailing stop loss of like 104.50 for example, or not trailing, I would just set a stop loss at like 104.50 for example, and adjust it as needed. If you see it starts to go up, say we get up to like 109.50, then at that point I'd probably set one right around like 107 or something like that. You just kind of have to adjust. It just makes it a little bit harder than the other platforms that do offer that. The perks of a commission-free trading platform, right? How's it going there, Mike B? Yeah, I mean, I've been there. Like, I mean, I get where they're coming from to a certain degree. Like, I've been there. I was naive and stupid enough at one point when I very first got started over a year ago trading, where I watched videos on YouTube and then I would go and hop in something because, oh, they're in it. I mean, if they're confident enough with their money, I'll go ahead and hop in. And then I'd be like, oh shit, it's going against me. But I never really blame them because at the end of the day, it was my fault. I made the decision. But yeah, is what it is. I'll just do better. I try to remember now in every video to bring that up. Do not invest based on anyone's opinion. My channel, I can't speak for all the other channels, but I know my channel, we're specifically here just to bounce ideas off one another. We're never here to tell anyone to invest into anything. All we do, again, is just communicate what we each see, and we just do our own trades from there. So do not trade based on my opinion, anyone in the chat's opinion, anyone in Discord group chat opinion. It's all good to ask questions and whatnot, but do not ever, just don't stoop down to that level of just being a idiot when it comes to money. Yeah. But yeah, I mean with Robinhood, that's the only thing. I wish Robinhood would add trailing stop loss, but again, I think it's a little bit of, hey, we're not paying anything in commission, so they're probably going to limit what all they can offer to us to a certain degree. I wish they would let us start trading futures on Robinhood. But man, they've totally fucked up options trading so bad on Robinhood. I can't even imagine how bad they would butcher up futures trading. I just can't even imagine it. Like, part of me wishes they would start trading, like letting people trade futures on their platform, but I was like, man, their options trading is so horrid on there on like getting you filled at good prices and whatnot. I just can't imagine how bad it would be for futures. People would lose so much money. But yeah, at the end of the day, that's the perks of trading on a free platform. That's why, I mean, in the future, over the next few months to a year, I'll be hopping back into. I'm trying to figure out which platform I still want to use long term for like futures trading and everything like that. I want to use Tastyworks, but Tastyworks doesn't offer enough futures yet to make me want to. Like, you can't trade, what is it, like, there are certain futures on there like QM/QM, one that I'm definitely going to be trading when I start trading futures. Futures market just opened actually, and it looks like oil's actually up slightly right now. So we'll see what happens. Usually whatever happens at first doesn't stick, but we'll see what happens. But let's see how the overall market. Wow, so holy shit. Looks like I might have a good day. Possibly. I don't know. Like I said, I never like looking at futures right after they open up because that initial pop or drop almost never sticks. But now 0.5%, I don't know. That'll be interesting. That one might stick, but we'll see what happens there. So that's going to be interesting. And like I said, the one with oil, I don't think oil's pop will probably stick personally, but we'll see what happens. Let's look at our 20-day 1 hour. So, zoom in a little bit more. So yeah, we got a little bit of separation again, but we'll see what happens overnight. I'll check back on it here in a few hours. I mean, I'll be checking it on a probably minute by minute basis like I always do on Sunday nights. But somewhere around 4 or 5 hours from now, I'll take another hard look at it and we'll see what happens. But yeah, looks like overall, I don't know if there was some news over the weekend. Was there some more trade news or something over the weekend? Because I haven't heard of anything yet, but looks like a pretty strong open for the market possibly tomorrow. But we've seen this time and time again where we start out like this and we completely like go flatline by the open. So we'll see what happens overall. But yeah, on that note, I guess I'll probably go ahead and start wrapping the stream up. I know my fiance is going to be home soon. Looks like we got like 4 or 5 of you tuning in. And like I said, if you're new to the channel, either like right now or after the video uploads, definitely consider hitting the subscribe button below. We'd love to have you here. We're coming up on 600 pretty quick. Last I checked, we were at like 585 to 590, somewhere around there of us here. And like I said, we have that Discord group chat also. It's down in the description box. Okay, I'll look at this for Shirley real quick. BB, let's see. Entry at 1043. Stop loss of 89 cents. Price target of 13.23, huh? BlackBerry, I don't know about BlackBerry going to 13. Let's see. That's a hefty price target for BlackBerry, in all honesty. Last time this thing was above $13 was over a year ago. And it has been on this downward trend. So just be careful. It could get rejected right about where it is right now. If it can break above, okay, I can see why you say 1043 because you want to wait for that breakout. Want to see it hold above where it's at right now. So yeah, I would say 1043 to 1050. Yeah, that's probably a decent. I would even say 1050 to 1060 if you want to be super safe. But if it can break out above, I can see that. Yeah, I get what you're saying there about your entry, your exit. Man, you're looking for a good little run. That's for sure. Has a lot of room to run though when it comes to the indicators. So this is the 3-year 1 week chart, 1 year 1 day. I mean, obviously it's gonna look a little whack because of the pop it just had recently. But yeah, if it can get above, I would personally say like get above 1050 and hold above it. Let it come above this, not maybe this specific trend line that I drew out, but pretty damn close. If it can like get above 1050, pull back to 1050 and bounce at or above it, then I'd probably hop in. But I want to see it kind of prove itself. So that's just my 2 cents. Let's see, 13.23, stop loss of 89. So that's a 3-to-1 ratio. Yeah. So that's not too bad of risk management. set a trailing stop loss too, because this thing looks like it can be pretty volatile. But man, if you had invested in on the lows, you would have damn near doubled your money on it. So we'll see what happens though. My gut is telling me it's probably going to get rejected. It's one of those that tends to either pop or drop on earnings, and either way it's just continued on downward. So I think it'll end up being one you probably don't invest in, but could be wrong. Stuff can turn around, and it's had a pretty good rally over the last quarter, but again, what hasn't in this market? Not a lot. So we'll see what happens. Definitely keep me. I'm actually going to set some alerts because I want to see how this one goes. This might be one actually worth getting into. So I'm going to set mine at 1050, and then I'll set my other one probably around 950. Actually, I'll probably set it around 940. Yeah, somewhere around there. See what happens there. That'll be interesting to see how that happens. But yeah, good little call out there because that has potential. It's just I think it'll probably get rejected and continue lower. But we'll see what happens. So yeah, on that, we'll probably go ahead and end the stream. We'll check out the futures market real quick. Looks like futures have cooled off just ever so slightly. Take a look at oil's futures again too. They've cooled off slightly as well, up about 1/4% now. They opened roughly up 1/3 to 0.4%. So again, we'll see what happens. I'll check back in a few hours and holler at you guys in the Discord group chat. But yeah, on that note, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Like I said, for the last time, if you're new to the channel, after the video uploads, and if you tune in after that, or if you're tuning in now for the first time, definitely consider hitting the subscribe button below. We'd love to have you here, and check out our Discord group chat. It's super easy to join, and that's down in the description box. And thanks again for everybody tuning in and supporting the channel. Cannot stress that enough to you guys. I'll try to go live tomorrow, but like I said, I'm getting busy at work now. With April and daylight savings, they're going to start giving us some 5 to 7s, it sounds like. So if possible, I'll try to hop on, but like I said, if not, I'll at least try to start recording some more videos and push those out for you guys as well in the meantime. But other than that, hopefully you guys have a good week. Hopefully you guys did have a good weekend. If you enjoyed the stream, definitely make sure to smash the like button, share it with any friends or family they think might like the channel and like the community we got going on here. I greatly appreciate that. But until next time, guys, keep on going out there, making your profits, covering your profits, and achieving your financial freedom this year. And I will see you guys, hopefully, like I said, tomorrow or the next couple days for another live stream. But until then, take it easy, guys.